Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 4. This week, I just wanted to quickly go over the expectations for the midterm project, as this is something that is asked about quite frequently. So, the midterm project is due the Thursday of week 5. However, you do have the ability to work on it before then. And what you are doing is you are developing your own auditing tool. So, what is an audit tool? So, let's take a look. What is a medical coding audit tool? Now, when we look this up, you're not going to find anything already done for you. This is going to be something that you are going to have to really do some research on. This isn't something that you can just click and copy and paste. So, what an audit form does is it is basically a checklist. Here's an example of one to make sure that this is the medical record audit tool. That's not what we're looking for. So, let's go back. We are looking for a coding audit tool. Okay, so here's the example that is in our course. I do want to remind you that this is not what I am looking for, and I'm just going to go into our course for that right here. This is no longer a valid form because this is an outdated E&M audit form. And our assignment is asking you to make up a form that is inclusive of all codes, CPT, ICD-10, and ICD-10 PCS. This is just for E&M codes. And again, it's outdated because we have a new way to look up and verify levels of different E&M codes, the time and the MDM. We don't follow any of this anymore. So just copying and pasting this and putting your information on it from, does it even tell it? Yeah, from Happy Hospital will automatically earn you a 0. Okay. These links are telling you about places you can go to research, but your form should be in your own format. You are developing a form all on your own, but you are utilizing information that you find when you are researching. So, some of the things that you may find, do I have to put anything in here? Can I just look at the form? Don't buy anything. Okay, so here's an example of an inpatient coding audit worksheet. So, some of the things that you would want to make sure are on your form would be the name of the facility, the medical record number, the registration number, the date of service, the date it was coded. Because basically, what an audit is it's checking to make sure that the original things that were coded out are correct. And there are internal audits and there's external audits. Internal audits would be done by somebody in the office. External audits would be done by somebody outside of the office. Oops. Where did we go here? There we go. So you would definitely need to have something on there about if the code was changed. What was the original code? So here's if it was just for MSDRG. What was the code at the pre-audit? So what was the code that is in the computer? What is the code post-audit? And what was the difference between those two? You should have diagnostic and procedural coding. And it should reflect not just inpatient, but inpatient and outpatient. So I will show you a couple of previous submissions that earned a high grade. But if you copy and paste those, obviously it will be a 0 earned. If you provide me a form that only has one of the manuals, then you will earn at 25, 50%. You need to have a audit form that can be used because you're going to use this for your final exam. You're actually going to do an audit. So it has to be a form that you can use. And it also should include commonly used guidelines that are mistakes. So for example, if we go back to our search, and these are all things that are good to look at. Again, make sure it's not a medical record auditing form. You're looking for a medical coding audit form. And one of the things that you can look up is the common coding errors with, I don't know, we'll just say ICD-10-CM. Okay, so you may want to say something on your audit form is the current code being used, the current year code being used. Making sure that there is a diagnosis code and a procedure code, making sure that laterality is there, making sure that nothing is transposed, making sure modifiers are used. Probably the most common mistake on this assignment is not having some sort of mention of modifiers. So with that all being said, let me pull up a couple of examples of students that had this form with the requirements. But again, copying and pasting what I'm showing you will earn you a 0, as that is obviously cheating. But you can take some elements of each of these items. All right, here is an example of a Happy Hospital auditing form that broke up the patient demographics, whether the code for the case was over, under, correct, miscoded, outpatient, inpatient, both. The formatting is a little off on here, but that's okay. The documented diagnosis, the actual diagnosis that was coded, was the diagnosis matching of the documentation, yes or no? Then the same thing for the procedures. What was the documented procedure? What was the correct procedure after the audit? Addition of any modifiers that were not added, along with comments or explanations. So this student did put in E&M. This is actually, yes, this is a chart for MDM, and they put in time. You don't have to do this. This was just an example of one of the sections she did, or he did. We don't need to get this nitty-gritty. If you choose to, that's fine. I'm just looking for CPT, PCS, and ICD-10-CM. So then the student did, okay, well, procedure codes for PCS, what section was it in, what body system operation, body part approach device qualifier, where in the documentation were all these items found, was it correct? And then the last thing was, yes, it passed, being that it was all correct, or did not pass, meaning that the items in the documentation did not support the codes that were found. So again, you are developing this type of form from scratch. There is no other example like this out there. You should not copy and paste this. You have to do your own research. If I see anybody that has duplicated this form, it will be a 0. But I just wanted you to see how it is formatted and what I am looking for. And this student got a perfect score on the midterm and then did not have to redo it for the final. Because what happens is in the midterm, if you need to do updates, you get whatever grade you earn for the midterm, and then the final, one of the pieces that you have to add is this form again. And if you have to make any updates to it, you have to update it first and then submit it. So we're going to be working on this for a couple more weeks. So it's best to do it 100% now so you have less work down the road. All right. So hopefully this has been helpful, and I will see you same time, same place next week.